Hey guys, and welcome to Achieve with Carolina Live. I am Carolina Romaniuk, child and family sleep specialist, and I help parents to get a good night's sleep and to understand their children's sleep needs better. So, I wanted to kind of find out how has your couple of days been with regarding the time change. Hi Alice, thanks for joining. So tonight we're going to be talking about how to transition from a swaddle to a pajama. But before we get into that, I'm going to wait a little while until we get a couple of people to sign on. And I wanted to find out, how is your... I'm sorry, guys. Give me 1 second because my little one doesn't feel good. Just give me 1 second. Hold on 1 second. I'll be back. Don't go anywhere. Okay, I'm back. Things are better. Hey Pamela, hi Maria, hi Sujata. So we're getting a bunch of people on. I just had to leave for a second because my son isn't feeling well today, and I just had to attend to him because he just woke up a couple of minutes ago. So all is good. My hubby's taking care of him. Now tonight what we're going to be talking about is how to transition from a swaddle to a pajama. And before we get into that, let me know in the comments, how has your time been with regarding the time change, meaning like bedtime naps. Have they been affected? If they have, how have things been going? If you had an early riser before, things should have helped and settled down. If they haven't, let me know, and then I could kind of help you with that. But let me know what's going on. Type it in the comments below. We have like a couple more minutes until people start signing on. So let me know how your time has been going. How has it been for you? Because I've noticed for myself that even though nighttime should be better, as the morning when we wake up, it's a little cumbersome because when we wake up we're still kind of sleepy, and then our usual 6 o'clock wake up would it wouldn't go as good as what we want it to be, or if it's a 7 o'clock wake up. So I'm seeing that we're getting a bunch of more people on, and since no one is mentioning anything about the daylight savings time, I'm assuming everything is going really good for you guys. So yay, bravo on that. Okay, so let's get started on our video. So I'm gonna kind of go down through a breakdown for you on transitioning from swaddle to pajamas. So, oh, awesome, Maria. That's so good. I'm so happy for you that the transition went really well for you. So, with transitioning from swaddles to pajamas, I was wondering about it when my kids were little. Is there a proper way to do it, or how can I go about it? And then I started getting lots of questions asked about it. My child can only be swaddled up until so long, like 8 months, and that's way past that time. But then I would get parents telling me, I can't unswaddle them because then they just kind of wake themselves up. So what do I do from there? And Pamela, you're saying when you say PJ, what do you mean? Sleep sack? No, I mean actual PJ. So I'm going to take you from the steps of when your little one is in a swaddle to the point of just wearing a pajama, like pants and a top, or like a onesie or anything like that. Because there is a process for certain children if they're very sensitive, and you need to kind of go at a slower pace with them. So if kids love to be swaddled, hey Anna, so and Pamela, I think I said hi. So when you're transitioning your little one, if they are very sensitive and they love to be swaddled, and you kind of know, okay, they're rolling over, so that means you have to stop the swaddling because it's a safety process, that it's a safety precaution that you can't keep swaddling them, right? That usually happens around 4 or 5 months for kids when they start to learn how to roll over. Once that happens, then swaddling has to be out because they need their arms in order to help them learn how to roll over. Again, making sure that you're mastering that technique during the day, because you know by now how I always say nighttime is a reflection of daytime. So if your little one is rolling over at night, but you're not practicing that during the day, then what's going to happen is that if they're not doing it during the day, they're not learning how to roll over properly, they're not going to be rolling over properly at night, and then you're going to have to wake up all the time and roll them over, roll them back, and it's just like this whole big game. So bottom line is swaddling should really be up until close to 4 or 5 months. It depends on your child when they start rolling over. Once that happens, stop the swaddle. So now you're probably asking me, okay, Carolina, but my kid loves to swaddle. They can't fall asleep without it. So a couple of solutions for you. One is either you can, if they don't have the startle reflex anymore, then you can either let go of the arms, so the arms can be free and you can just keep the bottom kind of swaddled. They have different types of companies that you can use those. I'm pretty sure one, you guys, you have one that's kind of multi-tasking. So just taking out the arms and just keeping the bottom is most likely for you not that difficult. The next part would be the Merlin suit. So you want to go from swaddle to a Merlin suit. Now, you might have heard about it or you might have not, but the Merlin suit, really what it is, it kind of looks like a big snowsuit and it has weights in it. So it keeps the baby nice and cozy, but it gives the same like cocoon feel with the heavy beads that are in it. Now, it's not weighted that it's like pushing on your baby. It's just weighted enough to give like a firm little touch on them. So it helps with using that. Some people don't like it very much. They might notice that their baby needs to have a little bit more movement, and some kids love it, like they just love it. So it's worth a shot for you to kind of try it out. If anything, if it doesn't work for you, you can always return it. And the second one would be, you usually use the Merlin suit up until I believe it's like 8 months. After that, then you have to let go of it. So you got your swaddle up until 5, then you have your Merlin suit up until like close to like 8 months, and then they have this really cool product that I found a while ago, and it works like wonders, and it's actually considered a transition from swaddle also. So it's called the Zippity Zip, and you probably might have heard of it. I think it was like on Shark Tank and stuff. So it looks like a starfish, and it's up until 24 months that you can use it. So it's actually considered a transition piece from swaddling. So it's called the Zippity Zip. The next one is your sleep sack. So we got the swaddle, we got the Merlin suit, we got the Zippity Zip. So those are your 3 components that you're going to go through, and that's up until 24 months. Then you have your sleep sack. Now, I want to kind of pause here. I don't want you to think that you have to go through this in stages. Sometimes kids don't really need all of these pieces. They don't need a Merlin suit. They don't need a Zippity Zip. They can just go straight into a sleep sack from day one if they don't have such an intense startle reflex. If they do, then swaddling really does help significantly. Of course, all kids hate it when you're first doing the process, and then after, when you're done, things are really good, and then they can sleep beautifully. So just, be patient with it. Don't start kind of freaking out if while you're doing the process, you're going to be saying, oh my God, they hate it. Just give it some time. Don't rush through it. Having kids, we have to be patient. So you have your swaddle up until 5 months. You have your Merlin suit up until 8. You have your Zippity Zip up until 24. Then you have your sleep sack. So when I first got a sleep sack, that was when my son was, now he's 6, so it was 6 years ago. I had no clue what that thing was. I thought it was a dress. I didn't understand what it was. Well, first of all, it didn't go fully around. It had, the legs were open, and it was just like a massive, like, bag. And I had no clue what the heck it was. But it turns out it was a sleep sack. You know what I used it for? I opened up the zipper, I put it in my bassinet, and I used it as a cover. That's what I used it for, because I didn't understand what it was needed for until later on. I started finding out, oh my God, they're making more of these, and I started seeing them when my second one, when Aaron, my baby, was born. I'm like, oh wow, these things are really awesome. They're wearable blankets. Because for me, and I'm pretty sure you guys can resonate also with this, is that when your kid, if you have a blanket on them and they're of age, that they'll kick it off, and then you'll start waking up yourself all the time, and you will just keep putting the blanket over them. Then the next thing you'll know, you're coming back and they're kicking it off, and then all this other stuff. Hey Sharon. And you're just kind of, you know, exhausted from the entire night, just putting the blanket on and taking it off and putting it on and taking it off. So when the sleep sack came around and I actually found out what it was, I thought it was like a lifesaver, because the child was wearing a wearable blanket. Like, how awesome is that? So they have so many different companies out there. I mean, so, like, oh my God, it's just like mind-blowing. So what I recommend for you to do is to understand, one, your environment, two, your climate. So they have different ones. They go into such intensified terminologies like TOGS. That's the thickness and the heaviness and the like the weight of the actual wearable blanket. So if you're in a really cold area like Alaska, you're gonna need a really heavy one. If you are in Hawaii, you're gonna need a really thin one. So you're going to know what your climate, where it is in the room, like how hot and how cold it is. Your child, how hot and how cold they get. So some kids, they sweat often, some kids don't sweat that much. Like my oldest, he sweated like there was no tomorrow. No matter what I put on him, that kid sweat through everything. My second, Aaron, didn't sweat so much. So you kind of have to know the leeway within that, and all the sleep sacks are all completely different. I do offer 20% off of a sleep sack from Annie and Pumpkin, and it's on my website, so you can check that out, and I'll put that on the link here if you guys want to check that one out. I love their sacks. They're called the Moon Cocoons, and you can wear them like in 6-7 different ways. So they show you different processes that you can use their sleep sacks in. And then the last part is PJs. So after a sleep sack, you can just start wearing a pajama, because the reason why I wanted to kind of go through this tonight is that lately I've been having lots of cases where the children are very sensitive, and they're going through the process of going from one association you know, to the next, and we're trying to kind of alleviate from that. So they're going from a swaddle to just being fully open, and they're used to a nice cocoon-like atmosphere. So I wanted to put something together, and I've been doing this with all of my clients, really, is kind of teaching them that there's a flow, a nice flow, to help your child to go into stages. So what I have kind of came up with, and I wanted to share with you guys tonight, is one is when you're transitioning your child from a swaddle to pajama, that there's a nice way to it. Now, of course, you don't have to go through the entire process. You can skip parts, but ideally, if your child is very sensitive, this is a nice way to go with it. So again, just to do a recap for people that are signing on, thanks for liking. If you really like this video, make sure you share it. You know the drill. Button is right below. And, you know, share it so we can get more people on. So the first one is the swaddle, up until 5 months. Then we have the Merlin suit, which is up until 8 months. Then we have the zippity zip, which is up until 24 months. That's the one that looks like a starfish. And then we have the sleep sack, which is, you know, some companies I've seen them up until 6 years old, even older. So kind of, you know, it goes with how old that you want it to be. And then you would go into your regular pajama with a blanket if your child likes that. So that's really what I wanted to kind of go over. Now I see we have some questions here. Sharon, I'm so happy you caught me live too, that you're on. Hey Patricia, hey Megan. Hold on, let me go up. I want to make sure that I get all these questions in order. Anna says, our transition has been super hard. Any advice? And I want to know a little bit more about that. You mean your transition from a swaddle? Is that what you're talking about? So let me know. Let's see, who else? Sharon asks, what about the zip up halo? I just bought it now. Baby turned 4 months this week and is over being swaddled. Yeah, I actually haven't reviewed the zip up halo. Let me get back to you on that, and I'll check it out and I'll let you know. But if it's working for you and you've gotten out of the swaddle, so that I'm assuming that your little one doesn't have the startle reflex anymore, or it's just not as intense as it was. So the zip up halo, actually, you know what? Let me check it out right now. Zip up halo. Ooh, this looks fancy. Yeah, so it's a like a regular sleep sack with well, they have two. They have one with the arms that are like hand to heart, and then they have the ones that are out. So I know that a lot of the halo sacks are pretty popular. So I can't really say anything about that because they come in different types. But if it works for you, good. The only advice that I can really give you is if it doesn't, make sure you keep the receipt, and you can always return it and maybe see a different style might work for you. It's kind of like a process for it. But I want you to understand one thing. If you are buying these props and your child has an association for sleep, and you are praying that these props will do the trick to help your little one sleep, most likely that's not going to happen because you haven't gotten to the root of the situation. So if your child does have associations, for an example, they need to be rocked, they need to be fed constantly, not on a strict schedule, but they're always asking for the breast or for the bottle, and that is how they relax. Or they need to be held, like I mentioned, they need to be rocked, or you're bed sharing with them and you don't feel comfortable anymore and you don't really know what to do, but you're looking into these props to help you because marketing wise they promise you that your little one is going to be sleeping beautifully. Don't feel as though this is like your only resort. What I want you to understand is that using props just to help you alleviate any type of sleep disturbances is not going to help solve your case. It's just kind of going to mask it until the next milestone happens, and then you're going to kind of have to start from scratch. So if you're not working on the foundation of your little one, then anything that you buy is not going to work. It either might help it temporarily, but then you're going to go back to square one. So you probably are asking, well, then what the heck can I do, Carolina? Like, these products that I'm buying, they're not cheap. They cost a fortune. Simple. I have some time. I have I think 3 available slots for this month. Let me know if you want to chat. You can PM me, you can email me, you can just reply to here on the message, and we'll chat a little bit, and then I'll see if maybe I can fit you in to get a free sleep session with me, and like a sleep strategy session, and then we can go from there. Cool. So I'm seeing that we have a couple of other questions. Oh, Anna, you were talking about daylight savings transition. All our naps are screwed up after hour change. Another unrelated question. Do babies have nightmares? Nathan woke up crying twice and no, they don't necessarily have nightmares. If they wake up crying hysterically, that just means that it's during a night waking, and that their naps and their daytime, their schedule is just not according to their biological rhythms. So their sleep is just messed up. That's really what it means. So if a child is waking up in the middle of the night crying, and even if their eyes are closed, it just means that the first thing is that there's something going on with their schedule. That's like the first inkling for me. And I would want to find out what's going on for the schedule for naps and for bedtime, and go through there. I don't think that your little one has associations from what I do recall. I really think that you have been kind of struggling with the schedule a little bit here or there, and especially since you mentioned with the time change, that can really screw some people up. So let me know if you want to chat a little bit more and be one of those 3 people that I can sign up. So I hope that helps you, Anna. Sabina says, is a Merlin safe for a baby that rolls over on their belly? My 6-month-old was sleeping swaddled, hands in. He started rolling over while asleep and is now unswaddled and constantly wakes up. It does say that it can be up until like 6 to 8 months. If your little one is rolling over and they're having a hard time, it doesn't really necessarily say that the Merlin suit is not safe, because then I don't think that they would be making it up until that 8-month age. But I would practice more on rolling over. They do have this other really cool, it's a sleep sack, I think it's called Nested Baby, where it's a sleep sack, and then they have right here, it's like a heart, and it has a weight on it. So not like the little weighted beads that the Merlin suit does. So it's not on the entire body, it's just over here. It's called Nested Baby, I believe. Hold on, let me check that out for you. Look at this, tonight I'm doing research for you guys. Nested. No, I'm wrong. It's called Nested Bean. And yeah, it's called Nested Bean. So I haven't had the opportunity to review that one-on-one, but I've heard pretty good reviews on it, and it looks like a pretty cool sleep sack. So check that out, see, you know, maybe if you might like that, but I don't see anything that difficult. I would really want your little one actually to learn how to roll over beautifully themselves, as opposed to having the Merlin suit forcing them to not to be able to do that, because they need to know how to roll over themselves. If they're having a prop that is preventing that from happening, then you are kind of delaying that development. You're saying he rolls over perfectly, he wakes himself up with his hands. Oh, okay. So yeah, so then I would probably continue on using that temporarily, but then closer towards 8 months, you're going to have to kind of get away from that, but he should have more or less control over that. So I'm assuming that he still has the startle reflex that you're going through. So yeah, so the Merlin suit should be helping you pretty nicely on that. Let's see who else has questions. Sharon, yes, exactly, no more swaddling. She just stopped being colic, thank God. I only got the halo because she kicks off the blanket and I'm scared she will kick it over her face. Yes. So first of all, congratulations on the colic going away. And yeah, that's a very, very big doozy for parents. So I'm happy that, you know, she is growing beautifully and that phase has passed. And a sleep sack does help tremendously. Of course, you don't want them to have a loose blanket in the crib. That is a no-no. You know, the AAP just says to have a firm mattress, fitted sheet, and the baby in the crib. And sleep sacks are beautiful because their legs like to kind of kick up and down all the time, and then if something covers their face, they freak out and they don't know what to do because they don't have that capacity to understand, oh, I can just pull this off. So we don't want that to happen. So it's a good thing that you bought the sleep sack. Yeah, the halo it's awesome. I haven't heard any bad reviews on that. So good job, Sharon. Let's see. Alice asks, my baby's 3 months old. Yay, Alice! And finding his hands and wanting to suck his thumb. Hold on, let me open this. We still swaddle him and uses a pacifier. We tried not swaddling and he could not go back to sleep because of his arms and doesn't always find his thumb. When should I keep swaddling even though I am preventing from his second thumb? So my question for you, Alice, is you said that he wants to suck his thumb, but he can't sleep without the swaddle. So I'm assuming that he still has a startle reflex, which will, if he finds his thumb, he'll probably smack himself and he'll wake himself up. So I would have him still be swaddled until he starts rolling over, which probably be like in a month or so. And then just keep giving him a pacifier and trying that, because the only other option that you have is taking one arm out and swaddling the rest of the body. So that's another option that you have. They do have a couple of swaddles that you can look into that, but that's your other option. So you have two. One is either swaddle him fully and give him a passy, or the second one is keep one arm out, so then he can use that for his thumb sucking, and then keep the rest of the body swaddled in that part. But then you're kind of going against, if he doesn't suck his thumb, then he could just kind of smack himself to wake up. So you're gonna have to kind of test it out. Sharon, up until what age do you work with? 99. No, I work newborn up until 6 years old, and then teens, and I just the last several months I've been working with adults too. So what I've noticed is after I help parents put their little ones to sleep and they're sleeping beautifully through the night, you know, the moms and dads are so used to not sleeping or going to sleep so early that they don't know what to do with the rest of their time. They don't know how to put themselves to sleep. So what I started to do is put sleep plans together for adults too. But regarding kids, it's usually newborn up until 6. Teens, I've had some of them have lately just been kind of coming out of the woodwork, so I've been working with teens as well, and adults too. Hi Mila Ann. It reads that way, but it's Milana. Okay. Hey Angelica. My pleasure, Sabina. Anna, it's interesting that the two are related, so if he wakes up crying again, should we put him back to sleep if he was mid-cycle, I guess? Yes. You need to put him back to sleep, or how you put him back to sleep is you can wait and see, you know, after maybe like 5 minutes if he can put himself back to sleep, but you have to listen to his cry. If it's an escalated cry, then you have to go into the room. I wouldn't do an interval or a wait out period with him, because then it can just go into, you know, like haywire, and then they could really fully wake themselves up. If it's a whine, I would kind of just listen and wait before I enter the room, because they might surprise you. They might just fall asleep right away themselves. Sharon, do you do pacifier training? Is there even such a thing? I'm assuming you mean to learn how to get rid of the pacifier. So there's not really much of a pacifier training, so to speak. There are tips and tools that you can use to kind of get rid of the pacifier, but I'm going to be really honest with you. It depends on the age, and if they're little, cold turkey is your best bet. Now the problem is with that is that most parents tell me, oh, okay, so I'm gonna do cold turkey, right? But what the hell am I gonna do for those days when they're screaming banshee at me? So you just have to either wait it out and put together a plan for yourself, and what are you going to do to help calm them down when they are not having the pacifier. I've had some parents that cut up the pacifier, which I don't suggest that doing, because your little one can just bite off a piece and God forbid swallow it. So that's something I don't recommend. I've had parents use the pacifier and dip it in like mustard, or they have this like on Amazon or something, like the stuff that you put on the nails to make them taste like nasty. They did that, you know, weird stuff. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it just kind of backfired on them. But your best bet really is just to do cold turkey with the pacifier. Again, depending on the age. My son was 2 years old when we actually got rid of the passy. I didn't want to force it on him. He was still taking it only for sleeping time. We made sure that it was only for sleeping time, and then he just gave it to me. But if you start seeing that, okay, they're 3 years old and they're still having a pacifier and there's no need for it, then that can become a behavioral feature, so you have to kind of look into that. Also, if they're little, meaning, for example, they're under a year old, and how you know if the pacifier is a problem is if when they spit it out, you have to constantly keep going in and replugging it. I mean like 50 times at night. Not once, not twice, not even 3 times, but constantly. If you consistently have to keep putting in that pacifier to, you know, help them go back into sleep cycles, then you really got to get rid of that pacifier, because it's not helping anyone. It's just making matters worse. It's just making sure that they are in light stage of sleep and that they become that much more sensitive when something out of their environment forces them to wake up. And that is a pacifier for some kids. So if none of the above are going on for you, you're in good hands. Then I don't see a point in getting rid of the pacifier. Cool. Hey Amanda. My pleasure, Alice. My pleasure, Anna. I hope Sharon answered your question. So do we have any more questions tonight? Like my accent? I don't know where this comes from. I just start talking like this. What did you guys do tonight? I'm assuming everyone on here are my New Yorkers. How was the blizzard? I mean, not much of a blizzard, but it is nasty outside. That I can tell you that much. Any other questions we have this evening? Let's see what time it is. Okay, so we're doing our usual, like half an hour into it. I'm just gonna recap on Pamela a bust. So, one thing that I do want to mention to you, I posted like an hour ago on my page or something like that. If any of you mommies on here want to or have been wanting to work with me but kind of hesitated and you don't really know where to begin, I do have 3 spots left, like I was mentioning, for this month, and it is for a free sleep strategy session with me. And all I need you to do is just private message me, or you could email me at itsme@achievewithcarolina.com, and let's see if maybe we could schedule something. We will also, if let's say you have a friend that also is having sleep struggles, and they have been wanting to kind of work with a sleep trainer and they don't really know how to go about it, or they have like questions and stuff like that, send me their info too, or have them contact me as well, and we'll see if maybe, you know, we could schedule something together with them as well. And the best thing is that, you know, by now, I love doing gradual approaches. So I like to break up everything into stages and work with your parental philosophy and, of course, your child's behavior, which is really, really important. So to make a long story short, that means mostly without any type of direct approach, meaning no cry it out. So if you are a mommy and you're kind of nervous and you think that I'm just going to tell you, hey, let's just do cry it out, and, you know, give them a kiss and put them in their crib and leave the room and that's it. We're not going to do that. I don't work that way. And I always make sure that 2 things. One is we work with your child's behavior, and the second one is your parental philosophy. So you have to feel confident that you can utilize any of the sleep approaches. So if you have been wanting to work with me, here is your chance, and just private message me either on my Facebook page or my private page if we are buddies, and let's get this scheduled for you. I also have my calendar up on top, so you can use that too. So I gave you like a couple of ways that we can contact each other, but you have to make the first move. Okay? So that is all that I have for this evening. Oh, wait, one more. I'm lying. This Thursday, I'm going to be doing a talk at Yummy Mummy on Lexington Avenue at 6:30 from the Pregnant New Yorker. So if you are preggers or you have a friend that is pregnant, make sure that she contacts the Pregnant New Yorker and you can get tickets there, because I love her events. What we do is she has like a couple of speakers, like 5 to 10 speakers, and they're all on all different topics of parenting. So one of them is, you know, sleep, massage therapy, how to clean your house and getting like a cleaning crew. There's acupuncture, different types of other professionals, chiropractic work, therapy, what else? Breastfeeding, toys for kids, not adult toys. And yeah, it's fun. It's like 2 hours long, and then you get really awesome goodie bags after. So it's the Pregnant New Yorker. If you want to get tickets, I think they're $25 a ticket. And it's going to be at Yummy Mummy on this Thursday at 6:30. But you have to purchase your tickets in advance because seats are limited. She only has, I think it's 35 seats, and we're up to like 30 people or so. So I just got an email tonight, and it was like between 25 and 30 people or something that she's expecting. So we have like a couple of more seats left if you would like to attend. So that's all that I have for you tonight, I promise. If you guys don't have any more questions, love you, sweet dreams. And if you are watching the replay and you do have a question, feel free to type it down, type it in the comments below, and then I'll be able to respond to you. So sweet dreams, everyone. Love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Mwah. Bye.